Hey yo, G Dash, boy, take your hat off. Fine. This week on Hats Off with G Dash Jones.
Ooh, y'all know what it is. That's all. Hold up. You gotta put your shoulders in it. Hold on. What? Oh, skirt. Oh, hold up. I don't want to give you too much now. Woo, woo. That felt good to the soul. Y'all know what it is. This is Hats Off. Oh man, that was Divine Assignment by Jim and Nell featuring Iman Europe and Fat Ron. Fat Ron. Shouts out to Fat Ron, y'all. Again, that was Divine Assignment by Iman Europe and Fat Ron. That's a fact. Oh, go ahead, check them out. It's all anywhere, wherever your DSPs music is played. I had to start off with, you know, the vibes that feel good. You know what I'm saying? You know, you need to know what your divine assignment is, y'all. Y'all know how that is. So today's guest. Woo! Oh man, today's guest is gonna be something special. We got by the name of Kyma, right? Our guest is she's a sound healer, right? Along with being a sound healer, right? You might say, okay, well, you know, listen, you're gonna learn what that is. She makes mantra music. Say what? Yes, yes, yes. Makes mantra music, y'all. Oh man, the vibe is gonna be something special, special conversation. Okay. Also, right, has a book called Love Heals. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that, and she has a CommuniCare cohort coming up. So we're gonna talk about all the things that Kyma has coming on right now. We're gonna get y'all all caught up with all of that so y'all can learn about sound healing, right? Ooh, we're gonna talk about health and wellness. That's it. How you feeling?
I feel amazing. Amazing.
Ooh,
Yeah.
amazing. See, that felt good.
Yes.
You
As
see,
you should.
that's a fact. So, listen, before we get into your world, the first thing I do, right? First thing I got to do is do a quick hat tip. You know, a quick hat
Okay.
tip. You know, that's the segment of my show where I just tip the hat to people, to things that's happened recently going on. So I got to give a shout out to Peace, Love, and Poetry. I had Sweet French on here last time.
Yes.
See, you listen. That's a fact. So, and by the way, there's a slight echo. I'm not sure what it may be on your end, but I'm not sure if it's playing through speakers or something. However, Sweet Franchon did Peace, Love, and Poetry. I gotta give a shout out to LaShawn Janelle. Listen up in there with the spoken word getting in people's souls. Aziza Naila made 5 people cry in the back. Okay, I don't know their names. Okay, I'm lying. I don't know if they really cried or not, but that's how it felt in the room. Like the way that the vocals was doing, the vocals was doing what the vocals was doing. Right? Shout out to Ras for putting that whole thing together. Omar Sharif was a part of it. It was just a great vibe in the room. The band doing the band thing, getting it going with the booms and the cats. Listen, and they even got Ann Latrice to sing impromptu. She didn't even stand up. Was just doing. Can we? Like that's just how it felt.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a vibe. It was a vibe. You know? Like, shouts out. Also, I got to give a shout out to Open Streets. Open Streets had a whole little thing outside. Tim Dog was out there. I want to say it was near Newcastle Ave or something like that. They was outside doing things good for the neighborhood. Got to give a shout out to them. My man D Harv, Harvey Road, for bringing back bars. Shouts out to y'all for doing the things. They had the Jamaican version. I don't say Jamaican. The reggae version. Moneros was in there. Jahidi was up in there. I'm just telling y'all, things was happening in the city. Okay,
Right.
things was happening. I ain't gonna listen. I only got 1 or 2 more, but I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. City Fest summer concert. Okay, Nick West. I never met Nick West, but Nick West used to perform with Prince of some sort. Like, and when you see it, you can see it. If y'all look up Nick
Oh, I
West,
know Nick.
do you
I
know
know.
Nick like she was on that stage getting funky, and her band was funky. I got a shout out to Nick West and that whole Summerfest vibe. Yeah. So and positive vibes after dark. My man Hanif Salam. Shouts out to him doing that. Got his positive vibes after dark happening at the venue. I'm not there because I'm here, but shouts out to him for doing that. Um, and it's a blessing. Listen, there's a virtual open mic every week. I was the feature last week. I was outside on a tag that it was a thing. She did a live, had some spoken word going. Uh, and Cynical Insomniac, shouts out to her too. So blessings, hats, tips to everybody doing the things. There's a lot of things being done. A lot of things being done. Now, now. Without further ado, it's time for you. Okay. Now, when I say when I say it's time for you, things I want you to know. Okay, I'm gonna say this. You've been on my show before. It was
Facts.
in more of a group situation, right? It was the Delaware Music Network. Shouts out to Delaware Music Network. Later on, I'll tell you about what we got cooking. But now, we get to chop it up. We get to just oh man. So first, can you tell people a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So do you still hear the echo?
Um, it's not as bad. It's all right.
Okay.
We good.
All right. Who is Kyma? This is always a weighted question for me because I'm like, where do I start? I'm going to start where I am a mother. I think that's one of the most important jobs that a woman can have is to be a mom. And so I am a mother. I am a daughter. I am a sister. I am a person that believes in wholeheartedly in community and in advocating for young children, advocating for anyone who cannot advocate for themselves. I am a author. I am a mantra artist. Um, and I am a human being that's just here, like trying to navigate this physical plane, trying to work it out, you know.
Fact.
That's it.
Yo, your intro was like some affirmation. Somebody write that down. There's some affirmations involved. Like, I'm just telling you, it just felt like you all started off with some affirmation. Okay, right now you think all of those things, right? What a lot of the things that you do that deal with community, that deal with the public, surround a healing and wellness space, right? What got you so big on that journey? How'd you wind up in that world?
Well, I think it's been a lifetime journey. You know, a lifetime of experiences that I had in my life that kind of put me down this path. You know, I feel like it's a chosen path. I feel like it's a path that um, was kind of like divinely orchestrated. So even in the worst experiences of my life, it's all brought me to this place. But the thing that kind of sparked um, this journey for me was being someone who once upon a time had a child care in my home where I was caring for 12 children in my house. And I was about 7 years into the work, working like 60, 80-hour weeks. And I was extremely exhausted, extremely burnt out, very overwhelmed. And I just had a day where I was like, I was going on vacation, which vacation for family childcare is 2 weeks a year. And I was going on my 1 week vacation in the summer. And I remember closing for that day that day before my vacation. And I was like, there is no way that 1 week was gonna make me feel any better. And I was like, this is just, I can't do it. Like, I might as well call everybody up right now and tell them I'm closing. Don't bring your kids back here. Doors closed, business done. But, and I remember just like really feeling like exhausted, and turning to my family and being like, I need somebody to take care of me. I really need someone to take care of me. And so that led to a family member coming into town and caring for my children for a month and giving me the whole entire month of July off.
Whew.
And so in that month, I sat upstairs in my bed. I was watching Super Soul Sundays. I had them all. I had them all on DVR. Like, okay, let me catch up on what Oprah talked about. And I remember seeing a video that Oprah was interviewing someone called Thich Nhat Hanh, and he is a Buddhist monk, and he was just talking about quieting the mind and meditation. And so I was inspired. I was inspired to start meditating. And so I started meditating for 5 minutes a day, just gave myself 5 minutes. But my very first meditation was very life changing. It was one of those things that just caught me right away. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And so I always say that meditation saved my life, because it put me on a trajectory of this work, this life, you know. And so I started with meditation. In my meditations started to get longer and longer. I started to really come out of meditation with music, with songs, with mantras, with, it's almost like I went somewhere, and when I came back with something. Like, you know, came back like, oh, I got a song to share, you know? And so I was sharing that, you know, kind of experimenting and enjoying that with myself. And eventually that led to me wanting to share it with other people. But that's ultimately how I kind of came on this path.
Okay, okay. I gotta take it back. Just dial it back a tape. Now, when you was in a space of, you know, all the noise and trying to, you know, not have to, you know, to quiet it, what was it like that first time you meditated? How'd you get there, like to do it, or was it hard?
It's so definitely meditation was always something that I wanted to do, but anytime I tried to do it, I wasn't successful. I wasn't, because I had the wrong interpretation of what meditation was. So I always thought, just like many of us do, that we have to shut our minds off. We can't think about anything. We just have no thought. And that's just not realistic. I mean, we're human beings. This mind, especially when you're someone who kind of lived in your mind, it's hard to just shut this thing off. It's constantly talking, it's constantly going, right? So I think what sparked me with Thich Nhat was that he talked about tea meditations, how you could just sit with a cup of tea and just focus on that tea, or walking meditations where you could go out in the forest and just walk and just only pay attention to what's around you. And so he made me think about meditation differently. And then I found a visualization. I Googled, like, you know, meditations for grounding or something. And this meditation kind of came up of like imagining that you are a tree and that you're planting roots and the roots are going in the ground. And so one of the things that I realized that made meditation so powerful for me was that as a child growing up in a lot of dysfunction, a lot of family, everything. I was always imagining and fantasizing about being somewhere else and doing something else. And what that did was it magnified how well I could visualize. So when I went into meditation, my visualizations was on point. My visualizations was on a whole nother level because this was something I practiced from a little one. You know what I mean? I was always somewhere else. I was never where I was physically. So being able to lay and visualize myself being a tree, I could feel it. I could I could bring all my senses in to what I was experiencing. So, like I said, that first meditation was so powerful and so vivid that I was like, wow, it just opened that world up to me, in a different way.
That is, I'm gonna tell you what's so dope about it to me. The part that's dope about it to me is the fact that it is a culmination of lessons that you learned throughout your life, or abilities that you had kind of like and rushed it forward. Like, oh, this is what it was, and while it was those previous things, it allowed you to be extremely present at the same time, which that's just amazing.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so then you go into this meditation space, right? And if you don't know how to do it, she runs classes on it. So
Right.
listen, something else that you can see. But
I've taught a lot of people how to meditate.
see,
Definitely.
she gonna get you right, okay? But now, then you come out and you start hearing music, vibrations. Did that have anything to do with how you kind of got into sound healing or mantra music? Like, is that how it became a thing?
That is definitely how it came to be. Um, so one thing so I started all my mantras and music on a djembe, on a drum, and I realized later on that I think the drum kind of chooses you, or someone's instrument chooses them, right? So for me, it was always the drum. And it took me going out in the community and working with young children for me to recognize how the drum has been so instrumental in my life. So I heard sweet friend Sean sharing that she was playing the oboe in grade school. I was not trying to blow into nothing, okay? I was like, nah, I ain't doing that. Just give me the drum. So
Okay.
in fifth grade, I was like, give me the drum. So I was always playing the drum throughout my life. So yes, when I came out of my meditations, I had a little djembe. I would play on my djembe and kind of get into things that way. And I started in 2016. I closed my childcare. So remember I told you year 7. I was like, this ain't it. Then I spent that month kind of getting my life. Then I went back to work, and I lasted another 3 years, which those 3 years was way different than the 7 years. Because in those 3 years, I was meditating. I had scheduled massages. I had seen the chiropractor. I was taking great care of myself. So when I decided to close my business, I didn't close my business because I was exhausted, overwhelmed, any of that. I closed my business actually because I was in a meditation and I got a very strong message that that chapter of my life was over and I needed to let it go. And it was very hard to let it go because that literally was my livelihood for 10 years. That's how I paid my mortgage, took care of my child, all the things. And I was like, seriously? And then one day I went to meditation and I was like, well, why is it so hard for me to close? Like, I know I received this message. Why is it so hard? And I heard, you are afraid. You are fearful. And at that point, I was like, I don't live in fear. I don't live in fear. I live in love. So it was, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh, well, I don't live in fear anymore. I live in love. I went right downstairs, typed my resignation, told my parents I was closing. So I closed and then started a traveling program where I was going into child cares and introducing children to mindfulness, right? I was trying to blend.
Wait, time out. Because shouts out to the spirit, and I get that it just talked to you, right? But and so you was done, right? And
I
I'm
was
with
done.
you on that, right? And well, before I even get to that, so the drum itself, did the drum just appear after you was meditating? Like you was finished meditating, and the drum just appeared in your hands, or how did you already
No,
have the drum in the back? Like
so
what happens to the
I
drum?
mean, so I created my space. You know, my space was very inviting. Had all my candles, my incense, my all the things, my pillows, I made my space in a way where I wanted to go and be in that space every morning. As soon as I woke up, all my instruments, my everything was right there, my journals. So when I came out of meditation, whatever my spirit wanted to grab, whether it be a journal, because sometimes poetry would come out, sometimes I didn't know what would come. So everything I needed was right there. So I would just
So
grab
yeah,
my drum
yeah,
and
the
play.
drum was there. The drum was
Right.
right there, right there.
Right. So when I started going out and working with children and introducing them to mindfulness, it was a whole mess because I was with 3-year-olds and they was like, they was running circles around me.
Oh, wait. Okay, we got back up again. So you go downstairs, right? You after
Write my
putting
resignation.
the spirit kicks in. The spirit says to you, your spirit's, hey, don't you're scared. Then you be like, I'm not scared. I'm from Brooklyn. And then
No, hold up. I am from the Bronx, okay?
oh, even less scared. Same difference.
I am
Still
not
not
from
scared.
Brooklyn. Don't
But
get you
BX,
can't tell
okay.
you can't tell a Bronx person they from Brooklyn. Get
Listen,
that, get that.
I can do it on virtual because I can duck. I wouldn't do it in front of you because I would have to get away. But either way, okay, you from BX, so Briggs ain't never scared. So at that
Right.
point, you go back, you go down, and you write this resignation. However, the next step is coming up with how'd you come up with the program? Like, how did you know
Hey, you be digging. I'm trying to give you the abbreviated version. You
I need to
all right.
understand how that happened because you was like, yep, went from that to wait, what?
I'm going
How did we
too
do it?
fast. See, because I'm long-winded, but you okay.
We
Uh,
here.
okay. All right. So I spent after I closed, I spent like a couple years, a couple years diving all the way into my wellness. I was in a complete deficit. I was in parks hugging trees, meditating for like 3, 4 hours. Like I went all the way in, like all the way in. And so it was one day I was cleaning around the house and I had this vision of me going and handing people a pamphlet. And I was like, oh, what? Like, well, okay. And I sat down and I was like, all right. Because while I was cleaning, I was like, okay, Lord, I need some money. I've been taking care of me for 2 years, but I need to go make some money now. Okay. So I sat down and I was like, okay, what am I seeing? And I was like, what would I be going door to door to solicit for? And I was like, you know what? I've been rummaging with this idea of how to merge my two loves, which is wellness, mindfulness, and childcare. How do I bring those two things together? So when I sat, I was like, if somebody came in my business and offered a 30-minute session with the children where they was, teaching them something, that might have increased how long I stayed in the business. And I was like, what if I offered that? What if I offered that? So I put a pamphlet together and I went out into my community. The first day I went out, I went to 5 child cares and 3 of them signed up with me. 3 of them signed up with me that same day. And I was like, wow, this is wild. And I was like, all I did was just put a pamphlet together? Like, what? But actually, someone told me that's not all you did. You've worked in the field for over 10 years. You have a degree. You know this work in and out. You know both of these things. That's not all you did. Yeah, you put a pamphlet together, but you're you. It's you with the pamphlet. It's you with the pamphlet. So I went out and I got, like I said, I started my work. I started going into programs. So when I went into one of the programs, the children were running circles around me, and I left feeling like really defeated. Like, man, I'm not getting these children. How can I get them? And again, I heard drum, your drum, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring my drum the next time I come. I brought my drum the next week and I started class just playing the drums and singing for like 5 minutes, and the children was dancing and moving and dancing. And then after that 5 minutes, they plopped down on the floor and they was like, okay, what else you got? And after that, I was like, okay, well, now I can show you something, a mindful practice. Now I can show you something else. And they loved it. They absolutely loved it. And so because of that, I started to collect other instruments, other sounds to bring to them. Chimes, bells. I started to collect other sounds to bring to them. See, people think that my sound experience started with adults, but it didn't. It started with children. It's always been the children for me. And so I started to incorporate sound into my work with the children. And then there's a whole story about how I got to adults, but that is essentially how I started to incorporate sound into my work with the community, really.
Could you see it change the children, or could you see the impact
Oh,
of it
yeah.
in the children in real time? How so? What did it look like?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And I tell teachers, parents, families all the time, there's a difference between you coming into a room and being like, everybody be quiet, than you just coming into a room with a beautiful sounding bell and go ding 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 ding.
It's the vibration settles the spirit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's so different.
Okay.
It's so different.
Okay, so now now you got these kids all in, right? Between the drums and the vibes, and then somehow you slide over in the mantra, or did you get into the adult side first? Like, how did that whole thing come at the same time?
It was all coming at the same time with my meditations. So when I was coming out of meditation, it was like this synergy. It was this synergy. I love that word. It was this synergy happening, right? Where it was like I was awakening into, or in my own wellness and meditation journey, I was wanting to hear different sounds and creating these mantras and having all of this experience. And then I'm going out into the field and working with the children and wanting to introduce the children to the sounds and all of what I was experiencing. It's like I'm sharing all of my, like, ooh, this is what gets me excited. Let me share it with them, get them excited, you know? So it was like this whole like synergy happening in both those areas of my life at the same time. It's so amazing. Actually, talking to you about it is amazing. Thinking back to that and seeing where it all has kind of pushed me into now. But yeah, it's just been like this beautiful like dance that was happening at that time. And so with the mantras, I was coming out and singing the mantras to myself, and sometimes taking it into my work and teaching the children, singing it for the children, and seeing their reaction and getting, see what stuck with them, like what stuff they were singing, and sometimes sharing it like with my own family, and seeing how seeing my own daughter like washing dishes and singing one of my mantras, and being like, wow.
Shout out to Maya Bellardo. So randomly, her voice. So you had you like I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. Y'all just hitting notes together in the kitchen, busting suds.
Something like that. Something like that. Something like that.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Well, in case you don't know, by the way, in case y'all didn't know, you were watching Hats Off with G-Jones. I have the one and only sound healer, author, leader of the CommuniCare Cohort, Kyma, with me, and we are knee deep into her journey of wellness in sound healing into this world. And by the way, it's time for the adult side. So now, okay, because you got the kids, you got your kid, right? You is now in the zone. What made you even decide to kind of get into create adult music or aim at adults with it?
Well, so the first sound healing experience that I offered to adults came by way of Akeem Bethia. Shout outs to Akeem Bethia. Akeem was directed my way and kind of hit me up and was like, I'm doing an event. I had a sound healer from Philly that was supposed to come through, but they backed out. I need a sound healer. Can you do it? And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I do sound for children. I don't do sound for adults. Like, literally, like my instruments, most of my instruments were like miniature size because I was doing it for children and for myself. I was like, I don't really have and he was like, well, what do you have? And I sent him a video of some of the things that I have. And he was like, that's good enough. Come through. Come through. And it was at his event where I played the instruments while he kind of did some affirmations. And then right in that moment, I felt a mantra wanting to come out of me. Because at that point, I had so many mantras that I already had created and had inside of my being. And I felt this mantra wanting to come out, and I was wrestling with it like, here's this audience, I'm in this dim room, it's like all, and I'm like, I don't want to. And I'm hearing the mantra be like, but you have to. And I'm like, no. And what sealed the deal is the mantra that came in my spirit to sing. Akeem actually said a word that was in that mantra. And I was like, all right, Lord, all right, I'll do it. So I started to sing. I started to sing it in that moment. And it was so beautiful. It was beautiful. Like afterwards, everyone was like, oh my gosh, that was so awesome. And that kind of like, I was like, I may have something here with these mantras. But really it was 2020 that kind of made me say, all right, you know what happened in 2020, we don't gotta discuss it, but I was like, if it's the end of the world, if it's a zombie apocalypse, I might as well go and record some of these things. So that's what made me go into the studio and record, record the mantras. So, yep. Shout out to Ish, my man Ish, that produced. I Love Myself produced all of my mantra music. Yeah, I just called up my friends and was like, yo, I want to record this, so help me out, please.
Shouts out to Ish. That boy. If it, not Ish, like Nas Ish.
yeah.
What, that boy do everything. That boy do everything. Don't he know? Like he
Yes,
plays,
he
he
does.
video, like that boy do a lot. So he produced apparently. Shouts
Right.
out to Ish. And by the way, if y'all haven't heard, I Love Myself, then go listen to it when you're done. What? Don't leave now, but go listen to it after this is over. And then, or if you having a questionable day, listen to it then twice. So okay, it's one of those songs that you pour into yourself. So okay, right. So now you start you put this song out, right? What what was that like after you put the song out, and then you have two songs out now, right? You put another one out too. What was that like for you to actually kind of have your music out in the world? Because your music is one of those things. It being mantra music, it's like permeated through internationally. It's a whole vibe, right? It's one of those things where people actually do meditate to it, and it kind of gets into your, gets into your chakras. Okay. So what was that like when you start to be like, wait, hold up, wait, they're listening to this everywhere?
Well, I think the interesting thing is that when you put out a song called I Love Myself into the ethers, it's just the way my life is set up. I can't put a song out like that and not think that I am not going to be challenged all the way through of just how to prove just how much I love myself. So my journey with I Love Myself has been just that. It's been a journey. I think the first year, because it's a 3-year-old baby. Almost 4. This November will be 4. But my first year having the song out, it was kind of a slow build. It didn't really get that many listeners, that much. I think I had like maybe 300 listeners, maybe the first year. But the second year, I had gotten sick with COVID, actually. And that year, when you get sick like that, you start to really contemplate life. You start to get like, you have to hone in. So what I did was I literally remember calling all of my power back to me, all of my energy back to me, because I needed all of it to get better. Because I was tussling with COVID. Like we was we was duking it
It,
out.
it, it took the BN act.
Right, right. So I was I remember just calling all my power back, and one of the things that helped me to get better was to listen to I Love Myself on repeat over and over and over and over. It was just so soothing to my spirit to because the first year I barely listened to the song. I didn't like to hear my voice. I was like, oh my gosh, like no, don't play it. Ooh. But when I got sick, I started listening to it, and from that moment when I called my power back to myself, started to take care of myself even more, that's when the streams started going up. The streams started going up. And, and I try not to look at it too much, but I think I'm over like 300,000 and something streams right now with I Love Myself. So.
Yes, because I'm gonna tell you, right? And I got like this is one of the wildest things. So I play music at the beginning of my shows all the time. Right? That's how I start my show. That's how I start every when I post a flyer. I literally put music playing behind it. Right now, mind you, right? This is my fault. Shouts out to Joe. Hey, he said, by the way, that song ain't there. This is my fault. I'm like, all right, Joe. Yeah, you're right. All right, so then in my brain, I was going to find the song. The song was going to be there. The song was not on the song. You can't find the song on any social media sites.
I
It
know.
it bugged me out. My brain was like, I can't put this behind this.
Right.
Do you want to? Can you tell the people? Did you get a
I
notice? How did you find it?
I have no idea why the song was pulled because it was on social media for the longest time, but it's been pulled off of Instagram, off of all the things, and I have no idea why. It ain't nothing but the devil because I'm like, it don't even make sense. It's like, why you pull that song? Like, you know, and I mean, I think I've been meaning to go and like look into it with my distributor that distributed the song. Um, but yeah, for whatever reason, they took the song, they pulled it. I have no idea why. Um,
Yes.
yeah,
Whew,
I
yeah.
don't.
I thought it was. I thought they was just not letting people meditate on Instagram during the reels. Like you couldn't do it in a minute, 30 seconds no more. I didn't know why they took it.
I
That's
know, I know,
that's what we
but
discussed. Like, well, maybe it's because they just they stopping that. I don't know, But either way, the vibes are there because she got two songs. Both songs ain't there. I couldn't find it. It hurt my spirit.
But
So,
they're in other places. They're on
oh,
YouTube.
I know.
They're on they're on Apple Music. They're on Amazon Music. I mean, they're
Spotify, title,
right,
all of them.
right.
Yeah,
You can find
it
it.
just got in my way. Okay, it was personal that I couldn't play it when I did. It shouts out to Jim Manel because I was able to put that on there and still keep a
Geminell is
vibe.
my Geminell is my girl. She usually come up in the playlist. If you on Apple Music listening to my song, she usually comes up.
Cool, because I can speak it, right? So I'm glad that did go together. But that was amazing to me because the music is really powerful. Now, okay, right? So now you're in this space. You got this thing right now. Soon, and I know what came first. I'm gonna switch the question. I'm gonna say this. Then you say, "Hey, I'm gonna write a book." You you
I, I didn't say, hey, I'm gonna write a book. I didn't.
okay.
You know, I got a story for
I
everything.
know. So tell me how the download came to you.
So it was in a dream, right? It was in a dream. I had a dream in 2015, actually, of being visited, a man coming, a bearded man. I talk about this in the book. A bearded man coming in my dream and handing me a scroll. And when he handed me the scroll, I, in the dream, looked down and it was a book. And it was called Love Heals. And I was like, and I woke up and I remembered that dream. And it was a 7-year journey of trying to figure out what this book was supposed to be about. I started to write so many different things because I was like, okay, Love Heals, I got nothing. So it was, like I said, it was a 7-year journey of me trying to figure out what the book was supposed to be about, and it turning into what it is.
Wow.
So yeah.
So you got the premonition, if you will, but you actually had to live through it to write it.
Right.
It was like, by the way, yo, hey, this is coming soon. Like you got you got to come in attractions.
Right.
And he's like, all right, I guess I'm gonna do this whenever y'all ready. It did. So how did you know when it was time?
It's been so many things. Like I started to write different things, but like the only thing that I could think of to write about was my journey, my life, you know, and in writing about my life. So The book is in two parts. The first part of the book is called The Illusions, and the second part of the book is called The Love. Because only love is real. Everything else is an illusion. You know,
Okay. Hold on now. I need you to break that down for my poetic mind. You sit there. You talking that talk now. So, wait. So, love is the only thing that's real. Everything else is an illusion. Talk to me. Help me understand.
everything else is an illusion. Like, we as human beings get really caught up in the physical life experiences that we have. So most of my adult life, I was in reaction to what happened. So I was always reacting to what happened to me in my life. So like I shared with you, I had a rough childhood, and I was always in reaction to that. So I suffered from PTSD, chronic depression, all these things most of my adult life. And honestly, I work with children because I didn't really do people. I didn't trust people. I didn't like people. I was like, people ain't no good. I literally was even told that as a child. I was told you can't trust people. People ain't no good, all these things. And then I saw that mirrored around me. And so I didn't really fool with people like that, you know? So I realized that the thing that I was an expert at was my own life experiences and what I knew. And actually, I knew two things. I knew what happened in my life, and I also knew how to work and relate and care, no, how to love children. And I knew how to love children because all I wanted to do was give them what I didn't have. So I knew what I experienced, and I knew how I felt experiencing it. And so I was an expert at my own life and how to provide something that wasn't given to me. And so and so that's what I was like, okay, this is what the book, this must be what I need to write about. And so the book allowed me to share about those illusions, because I realized that through my meditations, through my work, that children come into the world with so much love. So much love. They will love you despite your ugly self. They would love you. They would love you. I've seen it. I've seen children be so sweet, especially the younger they are. They will be so, you could smack them 1 minute and they're hugging you the next minute. They are so full of love. And that's the thing. I had so many years of watching them, watching from infancy, you know, seeing how much they love unconditionally. And I'm like, the only thing that changes that is the life experiences that we think is actually real. Because none of that is real. The only thing that's real is that I am a being full of love. That's the only thing that's real. And so that's what the book, the two parts of the book, the first part of the illusions just talks about all the blocks that I had, all the things that was blocking me from the love, all the things that was blocking me.
Ooh, hold on. Okay, right. Because you listen, I felt like I read 6 books. Let me get it together. Okay. Because I'm gonna tell you what I heard. You let me know if it makes sense, right?
Okay.
In my brain, it's almost like all the experiences that we have in life, right? the things, all the things are, they may be tangible experiences, whether we can feel them, touch them, they're tangible. But it doesn't mean that they're real because they're fleeting, they're passing. While that love is what stays with you, it stays no matter what.
Right. That's literally what we're cut from. That's literally the cloth that we are cut from. Is that everything else is the illusion, and really all of life is you coming to the realization that everything that you are experiencing in this physical realm is the illusion, and the only thing that's real is love.
Ooh.
So if you feel that, comment, put some snaps, some 100%, some
Yeah. Okay.
Let us know you let us know you were live in the chat.
Yeah. Let that get into your spirit. Now,
Right.
okay, now, so
Hearts.
all the things. Listen,
All the things.
but I'm trying. So let me take it here, right? So when did you had that in your brain, right? That you went through the 7 year period, you had that in your brain, right? And then you said, I'm pouring it into this book. How hard was it to convey that message? Like, or did it just, what was that to get it from here to
Listen,
there?
I told you it took 7 years. It took 7 years because I'm a stubborn Taurus. I don't know. I can't, I'm stubborn, you know, even though the book was called, you know, spirit was calling me to deliver this, I was still like in my mind being like, yeah, but it's supposed to be this, or, you know, who's gonna want to read this? Like, I gotta give them something that they would actually, you know, want to read. And it's like, it was like this, you know, this tug of war, this 7 year tug of war. But and also I was dipping into the illusions too. So which meant, and this is the thing when you're writing a book about your life that makes it so difficult, is you're dipping into the past, which I talk about in the book. You know, time is not linear, it's a spiral. So the past, present, and future is all happening at the same time. So when I was dipping into the past so much, I was feeling it in the present moment, like it was happening now. And it was so much pain and so much everything getting churned up that I would write something and then step away from it for like 3-4 months, because now I gotta digest it. Now I gotta metabolize what I just unearthed, because I was bringing back these illusions that I spent so many years believing was my life, you know. But it wasn't me. It wasn't. They are things that have happened, but they're not who I am.
Right.
So
Right. You literally were ripping off a scab, or at least recutting open a scar. So like
right,
you're like, okay, that hurt again. My bad. Let me chill
yeah,
out. Let me
right,
let that heal again.
right,
Yeah,
right,
and then you got to get yourself together.
right.
Okay. So when the book was done, you put this book out. How did it feel when it was? How do you know when you were done writing it? If all of that, like, how do you know when it was over?
So the interesting thing is, the book did not get completed until I followed my spirit again and went to Florida. So I spent 3 months in Florida. 1 month I spent completely alone in Sarasota, Florida. I was in Sarasota, Florida. Mind you, I was in meditation again. Spirit was like, you need to go to Sarasota, Florida. I'm like, Sarasota, Florida, is that a real place? Would that exist? I look at my phone. Oh snap! It is a real place. All right, I gotta go. So I don't know if you notice a theme here. That theme of obedience is
Heavy.
right. So I went to Sarasota, spent a month alone. I was 15 minutes from the beach, one of the best beaches in the country, Siesta Keys. And so I made a schedule for myself where I would write 3 days a week and rest 4 days. So I would write 3 days, rest. And in my writing sessions, I would sit for anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes, 3 times in that day and just write. Anyway, I got a big chunk of the book done, that whole illusion section done in the book, which is most of the book. And then the part 2 happened when I started to make my way back north. I drove to Florida. I started to make my way back north, and I stopped at different people's houses. So I stopped at my sister's house, my brother's house. I went to visit my godchildren. And it was in my brother's house in North Carolina that I finished the book. I actually juice fasted for 3 days because to tap into that love, because now I'm writing the love section. Mm-hmm. So I had to be surrounded by love. I had to be with family, and I had to clear my vessel so that I could feel God's love amplified in my body. So the second part of the book is really me just channeling. Literally, I would just close my eyes and just type. I would just close my eyes. I was saying, like, God, speak through me. Speak through me. And I would just type. So that second part of the book, the love part of the book, is all channeled. And so when I got to the end, when I was like, that's it? That's all you gotta say? We done? Okay. So I could go into my final thoughts, my acknowledgments. It all came. My acknowledgments, literally, I say, like, I'm finishing this book in the home of my brother. Like, you know, my brother who experienced the most traumatic time in my life, my brother was with me. That same brother. And I have 4 brothers, but that brother in particular. So the day I was done the book and I felt it, everything poured out. I typed my final thoughts. I typed my acknowledgments. I went outside the room and I turned to my brother and I said, the book is done. And we hugged and cried. Shout out to my brother, Joseph, AKA Ephraim. That's my baby right there. That's my heart. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, okay, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but so did you have to edit a lot because you was typing with your eyes closed? And I'm just trying to figure out, like seriously, because I felt like you might have missed an exclamation point, maybe period, or did it just come out like?
Definitely. The past. So that actually happened 2 years ago, and I still haven't fully put the book out. This is the time now where I'm gonna fully put this book out. It's been a journey even with that because the thought of someone reading my work, my stuff is so, it's been terrifying because the first block, the first illusion is my writer's block. That's literally the first chapter of the book is writer's block, because I didn't realize until I was in it that I had trauma around writing in itself. I had so much trauma built up around even speaking my truth. As someone who experienced sexual abuse trauma and all this stuff, you learn to keep secrets. And so now I was an adult about to say and speak my story. So I was sabotaging myself because I didn't want to speak. The little girl in me didn't want to speak. The little girl in me was told, no, you don't share that story. So it took me 2 years to even consider having someone sit and read my book from cover to cover.
Wow. Okay. What was that like? Like when you had to just put it out there for somebody, because the world don't have it yet. So how'd you overcome that to be able to do it?
So the interesting thing is I put the book out at first just like an ebook, just like sneak attack, like it's out, you can get it if you want it. A few people got it. I still don't even know how they feel about it. I listen, I was like, whatever. But I actually was on Facebook and someone that I knew very well went live. I went on her live and she said, she was talking about this being the year that you get the damn thing done. And she was like, if you got a book that you wrote that you need edited, call my girl Ronisha, and Ronisha could edit your book. And I was like, hold up, Ronisha's in my phone. I got her number. I know this woman. She a nice woman. If I'm gonna have somebody read my book, I need it to be a sister friend. I need it to be somebody that's gonna hold my hand, that's gonna be gentle with me,
Right.
talk to me nice.
Because I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my
Right. So I called up sis, shout out to Ranisha, and she was like, this is what I do. Ranisha actually works with children. She goes into schools and get teen girls to write their story, and she publishes their book. When they finish her program, she publishes their book. When she told me her story, I was like, yeah, you my person. You my person. You my person. So sent her the book. She edited it. We had a beautiful relationship with each other, but still, even with it being edited and ready, I still had a hard time releasing it. So this brings me to CommuniCare and the Delaware Art Museum, because I literally called up another amazing woman, Vanessa, from Healing Through the Arts, and I had been doing work at the art museum in collaboration with Healing Through the Arts since 2020. I did the first sound healing mantra concert in the Labyrinth in 2020 at the art museum, and had been delivering sound stuff through the art museum for 4 years. I called up Vanessa a few months ago, maybe I think in January this year, and I told Vanessa, I said, Vanessa, I need to release my book this year. It needs to come out this year. But here's the thing, I need someone to hold the little girl's hand in me. I need somebody to hold her hand and let her know that it is okay for her to share this book. I need you to hold my hand. And she was like, I got you. So we had another meeting later, like, how do you envision this? How can I support you? And CommuniCare was something that I had been wanting to work with. I'm always trying to blend all of my loves together, right? All of my things together. I'm me, so it's always going to be in wholeness. It's always going to be in wholeness. I think when people are entrepreneurs, they think that they have to separate parts of themselves and their work, but you could have separate things, but it's all you. It's all you. Bring all of you all the time in it. And if it ain't all you, then figure it out, because it may not be authentic. If you don't feel that you can bring your whole self into something, then it's not authentic to you. So I said to her, I said, listen, I've been rummaging with this CommuniCare word and creating space for community to come together in this communal care, restorative care space, especially for people who are community workers, are people who are actively out there in the community doing service. Because we all need to know how to care for ourselves. You have to care for yourself on a deeper level when you are caring for other people. And so how do I bring this thing and using my book to elaborate on ridding ourselves of those illusions so that we could step into the love, because when you're creating communal spaces, it gotta be full of love. It gotta, people gotta feel that as soon as they come into your orbit. They gotta feel that love, and so that's what it is. This series at the Art Museum, CommuniCare, is that bridging together of communal care and restorative care. It's a 6-part book series, so those who are a part of the cohort will receive the physical copy. And it's so wild because I just approved the cover of the book. I'm like, literally, this cohort is making me it's making me do all the things I need to do to bring out a physical copy of this book and put it in the hands of the people who are in this cohort. By week 3, they gonna get a physical copy of this book. And I want to be able to use this book in my work, because I need more and more people stepping into the love and out of the illusions of their life. Stepping into the love. So
Listen, bars. That's why I had to do that. It felt natural at that point. Like, you got it. That was so okay, right? Now I'm gonna take us back, and we're gonna come forward. So, right, and by the way, if you don't know, I'm gonna say this to you. As an author myself, what happens is you poured yourself into that book, right? Remember those moments where you had to step away because the book was heavy for you? That's the same thing that helps, that makes it hard to release. Okay, you almost have to be, you literally have to be forced or be free of the thoughts of anybody else. Because anytime you think of anybody else, don't get me wrong, I get it, marketing, gotta sell it, gotta do all the things, but anytime you think about somebody else with your, like, with that section of your art, when it's right to come, you're gonna start questioning all the stuff. Oh wait, they gonna read it, wait, that's going, and it don't matter. None of that can matter when it's time to put it out, because I gotta just get it out of there. Okay, just like when you release the ebook, you just get it out. Like that's kind of how we got to put it out, because you can't care. You can't, because it's in all honesty, the beauty of art is it's not about you. You didn't write that. You wrote that book from you, but you didn't write it for you. Right?
I did write it for me.
Okay.
I did write it. See, I learned later that, because I looked at the book as an assignment, in the way that it came to me, in my dreams, I looked at it as an assignment. And I think it took me 7 years because I'm rebellious. And I told you, I'm stubborn. I was like, oh, you telling me I gotta write a book? I ain't gonna write it. But I realized afterwards that it was a big part of my healing, because it allowed the inner child in me to tell her story. Right. And so it was for me. Right. It was definitely for me. So, and when something is for you, you're not attached to how someone else feels about it. Because it was for you.
There it is.
That's real art. Because when you do it for the love, when you're doing it for the love and for you, for the healing of you, because I feel like art is so healing. All forms of art, we do it because it heals us. The artist, it heals us, and
Yes.
so we shouldn't be attached. We shouldn't be attached once we release it. We shouldn't be attached. Now, the human side of us wants to keep us attached. That's the illusion. But if we stayed in the love, we wouldn't be attached to how someone else feels about the art.
Well, and when I said if you didn't write it for you, what I meant more so was the completion of it is meant for other people to receive it. Like that book is going to heal other people, right? Outside of just you. You have a world where people are going to be just healed in wait, and you're going to watch them heal live. Ooh, okay, right? But let me go back. I will go back and come forward. At the same time, right, leading up to this moment, you're now not only were you doing adult workshops, but you had a pretty much a residency at the Automat while where you're there consistency at the same time, right? So what's that like? Because you're ramping up for this, but you're doing that. What are some of the things that were happening at that Automat circumstance?
I mean, the Artomat has it's been love. Love is happening. Love is happening. People are coming. Those who are walking through the doors and allowing themselves to just lay and receive the sound, it's been beautiful. They've been sharing how much they're enjoying it. I mean, sometimes, tears just come. We had a session yesterday and, someone was like, I'm crying. I don't even know why. I'm like, that's the beautiful thing about sound, because sound travels. Sound travels, a sound wave. So when it comes through your body, whatever is in there that needs to come out, just comes out. We experience that a lot of times when we're in our house and we listen to a good song. You might start crying. We don't even know, like, yo, I'm crying, I'm a mess. It's the sound, the vibrations just allow whatever is in you to come out. That's the beautiful thing about music. And music has always done that for me. Sound has always done that for me. Again, even as a child, I always turned to music because it was always so healing for me. And so, it's love that's happening at the Artomat. Every third Wednesday is love. It's just a love vibration that's happening inside there. And yeah, it's been a beautiful journey. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so the third Wednesdays, right? You got this love journey happening, right? And then you lead up to this CommuniCare, which is completely separate, but it still gonna be love in the room, right? What's the difference in this type of journey than that?
So in this type of journey, the biggest difference is the book. The biggest difference is the book. And because the book shares my story, and my story at times can get, so here's what happens with trauma, right? It's like we have this thing where it's like, we try to compete of whose traumas is worse than the others.
The trauma
And
Olympics. That's what I
right.
call it.
And it's like, whatever traumatic thing that happened to you, that's your trauma. It was traumatic to you. Okay? So we not competing against traumas. All right? And so even though I share my story in the book of some of the illusions that I experienced in my life, I know that sometimes when we share, it could touch on something. It could touch on something in you, right? And so I feel like it's important to create a space where you can feel my story, and there's a community there that if something comes up in you, we are present to hold your hand while you hear my story and create the restorative practices, provide this restorative practices for you so that you can metabolize. I ain't trying to have you walk away traumatized now by my traumatic story. Okay? Because that's what happens a lot of times when we read certain spiritual books or certain stories. They could feel really heavy, and now we're walking around with that story and we have our own story. So this is creating a space where you can come and immerse in my story and be taken care of while you are immersing in my story, you know? And there's space for you to also share your story if you so like, because we are in this community space of being in support of each other, but we gonna take care of each other. We gonna do sound healing. We got Vanessa through Healing Through the Art. She's gonna be doing some art, you know, to express through art. We're gonna be walking in the labyrinth and walking on the grounds of the museum, and we're gonna be doing some meditations and some breath work and some, you know, we're gonna be caring for ourselves in a space that allows for our stories, because every story is important. Every story is important.
Ooh, that sounds beautiful. Y'all are gonna kind of connect through an empathetic journey, but at the same time, then also connect through the healing space of it too. So people are leaving with the relief as opposed to leaving with the weight.
Right.
That was surgical right there. That was ooh, you read books too. I could tell the business. That's what that sound like. Like you can read the
I
big
be
books.
thinking, you know, I just be delivering what I want. I deliver to the community what I want to see. Okay, that we all know the saying, be the change you want to see. Well, you gotta be it, you gotta live it, you gotta give it, right? Those of us who are in community, those of us who do things in the community, we give what we want to receive or have received that made an impact on our lives. That's literally what those of us who are community organizers, that's what we do.
Yes, yes. It's something else that you said here that I want to point out again, just for the people in the back. Okay, regardless of what you believe in, right? I don't care if you pray to snails, do your thing. But one of the things that was mentioned is the obedience to whatever that thing is, right? Because it'll tell you. I don't listen. If you pray to Pinky the Snail, and Pinky the Snail is telling you what you need to do to enlighten your life, you better listen now. Okay? All I'm saying is you better listen. It'll talk to you. You better listen. So, because a lot of this also, if you just tuned in, a lot of this is about that, Kyma's journey of listening, right? This show came from me listening. Okay, honestly. Oh wait, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, let me go ahead and do it. That's what
Right.
you can really kind of move your needle, change your world, in your mindset. So that beautiful. I'm here for it. Okay, we even took you through your whole journey, right? So that's what I came for. So I asked this question of all of my guests. Right? I asked if you had to give advice to your younger self, right? A younger version of you before you were Kyma, when you was just young Ma, or just the Ma, or just the key, young key in the middle. Where key at? Whatever it was that you were. But the year is still 2024. So the year is now, but you are that version of you. What advice would you give to yourself?
To be obedient. That's the biggest one, because I'm still wrestling with that one. To be obedient. I tell you, I got that stubbornness in me. I got that fire in me where I'm always trying to fight, but to be obedient, to continue to work on my obedience, because I think when we are obedient, we can we can we can move through life with a lot less suffering. We suffer the most when we're not obedient.
Yes, listen, that right there. If you ain't hear it, pause it, rewind it back. Listen, because that was
Again,
the
if
truth.
you agree, some hearts in the chat, some hearts, some
Yes,
hundreds,
yes.
100%.
All the things. Press the
All the
heart.
things.
Yeah, press that because to your point, what people don't get, the other part about obedience is you don't see the results until you're after it. So you don't even know how good you're gonna feel till you're done.
Right.
And you're like,
Right.
it's gonna feel that good.
Right.
Yes.
Right. It's like, that visual of you holding on to not being obedient. And then finally when you let it go, you see all the the blood marks, the scars, the calluses from how much you were suffering and hurting and holding when all you had to do was release and be obedient. That's all you had to do was release.
Let it go.
Let it
Yeah.
go.
Whew, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, this has been an amazing episode of Hats Off with G Dash Jones. I have the amazing sound healer, mental health and wellness advocate, author of Love Heals. When's the book going to come out for public consumption?
So,
Go and put a date on it. Go and put a date on it. Go and put a date on it. We here now.
Put a date. Nah.
She said I'm too hard headed to put a date on it.
Nah. You know why? Because I've done that. I've put dates over and over, and it never materialized. So this is a situation where I'm surrendering. Because I've already set up a container for me to be successful. That's one of the things that I do well. I set a container for me to be successful. So I already told the people that are in this cohort that they are getting a physical copy. So that means there's going to be physical copies for others to get. Because I got to put that in their hand.
Right, but will it be available to others to get?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So when the cohort?
The cohort starts this Saturday, May 18th. You can register. I think I want it to be a very intimate group. We're at 20 people right now. I would have some more people sign up because you just never know. Not everyone that signs up for something comes through. So register, get yourself there. It's 6 weeks. It's a commitment. But one of the beautiful things about going into a 6-week thing like this is you're not going to come out the same.
That's right. That's right. It's a transformational journey right there. That's exactly. And I know that
we not going to come out the same.
Ooh, that's a fact. It's because it's going to be a connection amongst everybody. That
right.
And I know. Listen, I just want people to know. Go ahead, this Saturday, right? The 18th. Is the cohort, right? So go ahead, join, sign up. It's at the Delaware Art Museum, right? The Delaware Art Museum, the cohort, right? We don't have a date for when the world will be able to access the book, but technically 3 weeks from then is June, at least 1st or 8th. Hey, I'm not putting a date on it. I'm not doing it. I'm just saying, if June 8th come and you want a book, that's a great time to reach out. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't do it, but I need my audience to know when they can go ahead and reach out. And they should reach out around June 8th. I ain't got nothing to do with it, though. I'm just doing math. I did a little bit of math. It was your glasses. Your glasses told me to read books and do math. So that's what I did. So I did a little math, and that's what I came up with. Who knows? So I promise you, there's going to be a cohort who got books. So
right. That's you trying to get me to commit to other things. Listen.
I'm not trying to get you to commit to anything. I'm trying to let the rest of the world know that June 8th. books will be there. Okay, I'm not trying to get you to do nothing. You gonna have books. You said the books gonna be here. Okay, and there will be others. So what you think? I'm just letting them know. June 8th is a great time. Okay, can I encourage my people? Okay,
Yo.
reading is fundamental. I want them to read. You know, literacy is down. Okay, I'm trying to help them stay
You
literacy
know what?
up.
I'm gonna receive it. I'm gonna receive it. I'm gonna receive it. The June 8th is out, and the ethers is out. It's out. All right. I'm gonna receive it. I'm not gonna resist what's taking place in in soft
Oh,
cover, sir.
and we got whole answers. Oh, it's there now. We know that.
In soft cover, yes. In soft cover. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Oh man, good times. All right, so now before we get up out of here, I do a thing. You know that I do this thing, but we're gonna do this again. Okay, I tell people if you give me a word, I give you a poem. Now, while you think of the word, right, I'm going to update some people's calendars. Right, I'm gonna warm up by seeing if I can just quickly update people's calendars in rhythm. I'm gonna try to do this quickly in rhythm. Let me see what I got. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. You can go see Justin Minucci or DMT with Peaks live at Finnegan's, but then again, you might also want to see the Lyric Lounge 302. That's Latoya Marie, Frank Bateman, the Soul Synthesis, of course, presented by 3G, and that's going to be on Saturday, and of course, that'll be hosted by me. Both of those easily. Again, after that, my friend, you might want to know, well, what's going on, and you can stop by Icons to see J Note and Friends show you Death of a Boy and Birth of a Man. And once again, now you trying to figure out how's it going down. Oh, of course, the things you can't ignore. Well, I told you about Saturday. See the CommuniCare Cohort. That's what you're supposed to do. No matter, I'm just trying to be honest with you. What I want you to do when it's going down, this is my confession. You need a legendary jam session and go see Icons on Wednesdays, and you'll see where the guitars come around. You can get your strum on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you about this. Earlier that day, it's the Summer Concert Series. I'm hosting with Todd Mathis. Before your week is finished, this is where you're gonna feel it. Then you can let it go down. You want to do it online? Get it virtual. Be part of the poetsPlayground. And that's how it sounds. So all I'm trying to do now is make sure that you can update your calendar. My time is done now. There you go. Boom. See? Something like, you know what I mean? Update your calendar. You know what I mean? I'll clip that. You let the world, you know what I mean? Do some things. Let y'all know what y'all need to be doing. Bow. You know what I mean? We outside. Lyrics Lounge, Saturday, Bing Bong. Tomorrow, Finnegan's, Bing Bong. We cooking. All right. Now, glad we had that talk. Now, you got a word for me.
Yes. I am gonna go with obedience.
Oh.
Because that's the theme.
That has been the theme. You know what word got me beat a lot when I was little? Listen, I was not. Anyway, sorry. Okay. Oh, man. All right. I'm thinking. I'm sorry I'm so hard-headed. I made a lot of mistakes that, unfortunately, I didn't take the time to admit it. It was a lot easier for me to act like I could just forget it because I didn't want to see what was before me as although it was meant to be delivered. See, a lot of times I let all the things around me ignore the love that was inside of me. Therefore, I was mad at the world when honestly I should have just been happy with me. It's easy to forget who you're supposed to be when you're listening to what everybody else is telling you in ways that they shouldn't or things that you shouldn't do. And this is when it really starts to confusing you, when really you need to understand who is really speaking through you versus who is speaking to you. What they really want you to hear when you give that listening ear, when you can shed those fears, it feels as freeing as shedding those tears. See, these are moments that you need to walk through and maneuver through life because it's meant to tell you what you're supposed to do. And I only have to ask you this, when it's speaking to you, are you really present for its essence? Are you being obedient? Poem.
Snaps. Snaps. If you was feeling that, put some hearts. Put some hearts in the chat. Throw those hearts up.
Yeah, I just put words in the bowl, make a little word salad. You know what I'm saying? Just a
Right?
little, just just a little word salad. Oh man, this has been an amazing episode. Hats off with G Dash Jones. I have the one and only, the amazing Kyma with me. Anything you want to say to the people before we get up out of here?
I want to say, first of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for having me. I want to thank you for you being obedient and answering your call to continue to do this show, because I know sometimes it's not easy to commit to come on here regularly and do something and stay committed to doing something. And I want you to know that I see you. I appreciate you. Listen, I need you, homeboy in the chats. I need you to cut it out.
What? That's Shannon Lowry. You don't know about shit. Listen,
I
listen.
know.
He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Okay, he is
Yo.
doing exactly. No, you can't thank me for being obedient and not thank him for his obedience. He is listening to what he's supposed to listen to.
Shannon. All right. So yeah, I just want to thank you for your obedience. I want to thank myself for being obedient to bringing this cohort to the Delaware Art Museum and to just all the things in the community. It's not easy doing community work, especially when you're also in the process of going through your own healing. And so I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for everyone that comes through the doors to anything that I facilitate or create. I'm excited about Saturday. I'm excited about the love and the healing that's going to take place for these next 6 weeks in my life. And I'm just looking forward to continual work in my community. I love Delaware. I wasn't born here. I wasn't raised here, but this is the place that I chose to live, and I chose to raise my child in, and I chose to be here. And this is the place that healed me. So I wanna say thank you to Delaware. Thank you to all the beautiful souls that I've met here, right here in this state. I'm always beyond grateful.
So
Always.
okay, right, and now, real quick, Easter egg. You didn't know this, but I'm telling you this. So I do a thing with live performances where I can wrap up all the songs and tie it into a bow. Right. What I call that is a gratitude. I didn't have that. I got that name I didn't get that name till after the You and Serena Joy Oddly Dope. This is when because it was something that I would just do. It's kind of like when I say, give me a word. It's just something that I just did. I didn't realize what it was. Right. And then Serena went. No, you went first. Right. I think, yeah. And I was going to wrap hers up. Right. At one point, you was like, "Hey, but you didn't wrap mine up. What's up?" Right. And I didn't think about it because it was just like, "All right, end of the show. Let me just wrap it." Like it wasn't that thought. And I was like, "Huh? Oh wait, this is a thing." Right. And after it was like, oh. And that's how I learned that it was a thing. I didn't know it was a thing until after you said that, and that's when it became a gratitude because that's what it was supposed to be, what it is. And then it became me kind of giving gratitudes out. So thank you for that because I didn't even know of it until after you said that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to do this. This is the thing I'm supposed to do."
Wow.
And then it became more. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So you did
Hey.
that. Yes. So shout out to everybody. Find my way home, and I love myself. They sleeping on Find My Way Home. I love myself
They are
inspired, but go ahead and find your way home too.
They sleeping on Find Your Way Home. But you know
Yes.
what? I ain't even worried about it because it's going to catch on the way I love myself caught on. It's okay. But they are definitely sleeping on Find Your Way Home because I'm playing my djembe on that song at the opening. That's me playing my drum. And that's me like bringing all my Caribbean flavor. I'm a Caribbean gal. I was born in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, and That's like my whole like little Caribbean flavor on there. So it's gonna catch on. It's
I,
gonna catch on.
I am so glad that you're healed, because from Caribbean to BX, you could fight and cook. I feel you're healed now. That was the old you.
Yes, my tongue is used for good.
Yes.
Yeah, because a Caribbean Bronx woman could probably cut you real deep with the words, but yeah, I use my power for good.
Yeah, shouts out to the healed versions.
All right. Right. But
Listen,
don't get
love.
it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I still got
No,
that
listen.
Bronx.
Love heals June 8th. I don't want no smoke. Love heals June 8th. That's all I got. Oh, again, thank you so much for joining the show. This has been an amazing episode of Hats Off with G Jones, featuring the amazing Kyma. Go ahead, look her up on all. Music is out. Book is coming. CommuniCare, Matt. Listen, she got all types of stuff just moving. And if you can't find her music on here, then she gonna reach out to her distribution company. So, all right, just throwing it out there. All right, y'all. Okay, again, thank you for tuning in. This has been Hats Off with G Jones. As I always like to say, love yourself first, and everything else will fall into place. Y'all have a good night.
Hey.